Good morning, everyone. Got about 5 minutes here before the challenge. Saturday morning. How month is it? It's March 5th. We're gonna play some black red goblins in the challenge. I made a couple quick swaps. Keep telling myself I expect to see 4-color Omnath and Luris in the challenge, so I went up to 2. I took the Battlecry Goblin from the board that I put in, and I swapped it with one of the Harbingers. This is hopefully so that we're more pre-boarded for like Luris and Omnath, like I'm saying. But then I also took one Skirk Prospector out because I was watching Spike's videos. The Prospector's good, but the reason I have the Prospector is because I like the thought of a turn 2 Blood Moon against things like Tron and Titan, but it's just happening way less often because I'm only playing 2 Prospectors instead of the old 6 dorks, which was 2 Prospectors and 4 Ignoble. So I shouldn't expect it to happen often. The decks that I want Blood Moon against, I don't need it turn 2. It's better when you're on the play, or when you're on the draw, to have it turn 2, but like, all right. We have the 2 Hidetsugus, which are now $1 million a piece. 4 ley lines, 2 Chalice, 2 Void Mirror. The Chalices come in for blue-red, as do the Hidetsugus. And these Battlecry Goblins have just kept impressing. It seems like when you get to those stages of the game where you have like 5 or 6 mana, they can put out like 14 points of damage in a turn. So it's not like Reach that, oh, it's just gonna get you the last couple points like Sling Gang. It's like a ton. You don't normally play it on 2, but you totally can. It's a 2 drop off vial. You could put it in play if you really think it's gonna survive. It's always an option. I don't normally play it on turn. It feels a lot like Pile Driver, old school Pile Driver in that respect. So yeah, Guess we should use this scene between rounds. I have to set up what is it? Timer is off. Go time. Must have. Try this again. MTGO timer. Here it is. Modern challenge. So. Right. Reason they're here is to block this stupid bar. Doesn't really work as well when just between everything. Never mind. Forget. Thought about it. But yeah, 2 minutes. Jumping back over here. I hope everybody. Well, I do well today. Hope I do well today in the challenge. Who should? I mean, honestly, I'm always of the mind that I'd rather O2 drop than grind it out for top 16 or something like that. Giggity. I get this cut soon. Channeling the power Yellowbird today. I love this Yellowbird. I'm also channeling Team CMU. People who know their Magic history. Force to be reckoned with. Andrew Cuneo. I don't actually know anybody else who was on CMU except Andrew Cuneo. Drinking some German chocolate cake coffee black. Have to take a bathroom break in the middle of round 1. So, I had a good day yesterday. Our last league ended up 2-3 again. We were 1-1 start, took a break. We came back, and we ended up 2-2. I don't remember even matchups we played. I know we beat. We've been getting a lot of practicing against Grixis Shadow. I'll tell you that. I think is why these Battlecry Goblins have felt like they're shining. When you're just in those late game situations and you have like 1 or 2 goblins, the Battlecry Goblin is often lethal, and the Sling Gang is often not. So this is a Yorion deck. I think I'm gonna keep this 5-lander against a Yorion deck. I think Snoop is worth a lot of value. I think a Cavern of Souls is worth a lot of value. I think if we draw any kind of other aggressive threats, we're going to be in good shape. And they may have to 2-for-1 themselves to get this Snoop off the table. Yes. All right, that's what we want. So they do play Counterspell. Assuming this is Omnath Blink, which is... I don't know why it's still called Omnath Blink. It should just be Omnath Yorion now, because that's the only blinker. Assuming this is Omnath Blink, they do play a couple counter spells. When I say a couple, I mean 4. Which is not a lot for an 80-card deck, right? Roughly 2.5 or something like that. Maybe 3. All right, so March of Otherworldly Light. Let's err on the side of caution. I don't think Yorion Living End exists, but I'll throw a Skirk Prospector in the yard rather than having it, right? So that implies to me that, like, careless use of this March of Otherworldly Light, that they have another And I'd like to get some value off this Snoop, so I may play it with the fetch land next turn. So we'll just play this Mog War Marshal. We may end up paying Echo. It depends what they do here. Sacred Foundry is not what I expect out of Omnath ever, though. Maybe I'm off on my read? They kept a 2-lander, so I assume there's a ton of removal over there. So I'm not going to give them a chance to take advantage of that. So I'm going to pay Echo. We're just going to put a Blood Crypt into play tapped. I should have done that second main. I got to play a little bit tighter. And we're just going to F6. All right, Boseiju is their second green source of mana. Here comes Teferi. I guess they bounce a token. They bounce a token. Kiki Jiki on top. Well, off the top. So we're definitely killing Teferi. And probably just playing Sling Gang. I mean, Sling Gang is good. It kind of plays into a Fury, I guess. But it's still probably the best thing you can do against it. The reason I think it plays into a Fury maybe a little too much, that it just lines up perfectly. Like, yeah, we drain him for 4, but I guess we get to untap with Snoop and we have a shuffle effect. I don't like that I'm not going to have anything to copy with this Kiki Jiki unless this Sling Gang just survives, which it may, which is another reason to play Sling Gang, right? Believing in the chance to survive. Also channeling the power of meme magic today. Coffee Pepe mug. Alright, so this is gonna ping my Sling Gang, right? It's not gonna ping my Sling Gang. Their mana is too important. Okay, interesting. This could be a removal spell. It could be a counter spell. I kinda want Kiki. I'm gonna maybe ignore. I can count some damage real quick. This would be 4. With the Kiki Jiki, it would be 5. Because I would make a copy of Sling Gang. Then we would have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Are we 1 short? And then we just Mog Fanatic them next turn if they don't Omnath, but like that leaves you really open to Omnath. It's also pretty vulnerable to a removal spell. We Snoop and see what's on top. We're sort of vulnerable to a Fury because then like all of our best stuff gets Furied. I think I'm gonna play Kiki. And we're not gonna make the... Let me do the math again. I played. It may just kill this Sling Gang right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 with the attacking Sling Gang copy. Sling Gang copy comes with 2 friends, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think I skipped Kiki, which... Yeah. Alright, so we're just gonna attack. I'm gonna attack for Ren and 6. They'll get up to 5 mana next turn. I think if they have Omnath and this is their only land, I think I'm supposed to attack Ren and 6. I think that's right. Because if you try to go for broke and you're if you try to go for broke and you get kind of stuffed by an Omnath gaining 4 life, you're like way behind. Fury here would likely target all 3 of my good goblins, but in response, I would make a copy Sling Gang Lieutenant, so we'd at least have 4 goblins. I think this may be playing it a little too slow, but with like 6 cards in hand and, you know, likely solitudes and things like that, I think it's smart to take it slow. This may be just a hard cast Fury here. Hard cast Solitude. Targeting? What I figured. So, get the copy of Sling Gang. We sacrifice the Kiki Chain. It's exiled. I don't care about the life. Sacrifice the Sling Gang copy before it dies. So now we can attack with everybody. Oh my god, Battlecry Goblin is like supreme overkill here. So this is actually really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are gonna play Battlecry Goblin. Actually, we'll play Mog Fanatic first. So Mog Fanatic actually gives us an interesting way to stop, like if a Solitude exiles our sack outlet before we can sack the life gainer. And I believe we don't have to attack with this, but I think they're super dead. To the point where I clearly just did 0 math. So they block our Battlecry Goblin, and because it's better than Chieftain, it doesn't need to survive. War Chief, Chieftain, War Chief. I don't know. My hat looks like it's 1,000 years tall, but I guess we just have a big. Okay, Omnath. So Blood Moon's not good. We're pre-boarded against Omnath with these Battlecry Goblins. So it looks worse than it is that I have 0 sideboard. I'm gonna put in these Void Mirrors so that they can't, so that maybe we get some extra aggressive pressure on early and they can't like Fury or Solitude us out of the game too soon. And I think that's it. And being on the draw, I guess you can cut one of these lands. I don't think we necessarily... I like 24 lands, but you can get away with it on the draw. Your percentages are about like 3 to 5% better on the draw versus the play. I don't think fetch land matters. We're not casting anything but Goblin. I guess activating Den of the Bugbear is like the only tiebreaker. I think you have to keep this. I think even against 1 Teferi, you're going to have a second Vial that's still ticking up. They do play some number of Cavern of Souls. You have a Snoop that can hopefully pull something off the top. We're bad against Ragavan, but as Spike says, sometimes you just gotta put on your big boy pants. Take the hit from Ragavan. Now they're ramping up to Omnath, and taking the hit from Ragavan is probably a death sentence, to be perfectly honest. We're gonna see if we can, you know, manifest some kind of gross battle cry shenanigans. Maybe even a combo? Who knows? People do some serious mental gymnastics, myself included, to justify keeping Ragavan on turn 1 hand. So we'll see. Maybe they kept a bad one. Although, doesn't like it. Well, maybe. Red, green, Boseiju. You just cycle that abundant growth, right? So it's not a big deal. Oof. I just almost spilled my coffee. Did that thing. You ever watch the tide at the beach and it comes up to the edge of the wall? You know someone's dripping. Happened with my coffee when I pulled it. Okay, it's actually really good because I don't have to cast Snoop now. I can pay Echo if I really want to. I guess I'm just gonna wait on this Aether Vial is what it means. Second Aether Vial, but I do have, an easy way. Especially if I'm paying Echo next turn, which I may not. Ice Fang Quad. So these two cards make aggression a lot harder against these Omnath Blink decks, so they've been good additions for them. It is part of the reason we kind of want to swing and kill in one hit, have like a lot of blockers. But they gain a ton of life, so it is hard. But, if they kept these guys over... Alright, so they're going to return the Aether Vial. They kept these guys over Omnaths and stuff, like, we're not too upset, if that's where we end up. So given that they have 2 blockers, if I attack the Fairy after paying Echo, it may die. They may double block. They get to choose the better option between hitting me with Ragavan and blocking. I don't think Teferi is that important. I'd rather not get hit by Ragavan. But what we can just like we can deterministically kill this Teferi by playing Ashlik Mons, which I think is worth it. So swing it to Teferi for 1. They block. Dang it. So they're just gonna let it die, I would assume, unless they have a second Ragavan. Ooh, the music is loud today. Turn that down. I'm just like, so I have one of those, this is probably not great. Killing Ragavan is tempting, but I don't really care about the Ragavan anymore, and I can block a bunch, right? So let's just keep this Teferi from ever drawing another card, from ever doing like silly things to us, which admittedly this deck less easily, but you really play prismatic endings along with these marches. March is very new in its like life cycle, so it's tough to say how many people are really playing. Just because I saw a list from last week that says 2 marches, 4 prismatic endings, it doesn't mean that this person hasn't flipped it, or that even the general sentiment hasn't flipped it, and I'm just unfair because I'm not an Omnath player by any means. Oh. All right, so second Teferi, that's fine. They probably bounce the token, but we'll see. Okay, so they bounced that. I can do the same thing again. I think I would take a hit from Ragavan there. A land would be a great draw. All right. So this means I get an Aether Vial down. It means I get a Pashlik Mons. I'm willing to take 1 hit from Ragavan again. It sucks that they keep just getting value off these Teferis, but they're just cycling and slowing us down, which is probably good enough for them, but it doesn't mean we're dead. Prismatic Demons hit me with Ragavan. Probably play Ren and 6 is my guess, based on how much setup they've done here. That just kills my Goblin if they want to play it, which is like pretty good for a free spell you drew off the top, right? I would have liked to have drawn that, but I can't really complain too much as far as Ragavan. So I'm gonna start with Snoop here. We'll see what's on top. Thoughtseize bug, this munitions expert. All right, second Snoop. So we're gonna second Snoop off the top plus Vial instead of double vialing. This actually puts them. Ooh, that's a good. This actually puts them in a tiny bit of a bind. Because if they don't have Fury, knock on wood, they don't have Fury. They may get desperate to kill both Snoop. Also have. But if they do have Fury, they're just gonna slam it and not think twice about it. So there's that. Can't do anything about it. Probably. I guess this is 6, 7, 8. Oh man, and they take the Battlecry Goblin, which sucks for me. Really wanted that Battlecry Goblin. There was no way around what just happened there. Like, I could have 2 Snoops in hand, I guess. But you still die and they take our Battlecry Goblin. But don't worry, Ragavan doesn't draw cards. It's fair. Oh man, am I tired of playing against cards. Let's see what's on top with the Snoop. On all of our mana. Alright, so we're just dead. What would happen is we chump with the Snoop this turn and then draw a mountain. Because this is lethal, I believe. Even if I didn't jump with Snoop, I'm drawing a mountain. I have to hope that there's something top. I think we're fine. I think our plan is okay. You know, they Furied us. What can you do? They hard cast the Fury. They had double Teferi for all the vials. We drew 3 vials. So we low rolled that game in a lot of ways. Talk about a low roll. Tank, mulligan. I guess you keep this. Not really the plan that I want to be executing. I'm not playing Hidetsugu in this matchup, so I can throw back this Anti's Hovel and not care. The turn 1 Skirk Prospector is the absolute smallest token amount of pressure. Ashlik Mons plus, I mean, these 3 together will have a lot of synergy, but you need something like Mog War Marshal. Did go up to 3 Mog War Marshal. Battlecry Goblins. That is a good name, Celestial. Assuming their name is Neil. Unless Celestial is like a pun. Not pun, but a descriptor. Do I offer the trade? I think their life total is so much more important than mine. Would I block? I wouldn't block. Maybe I would block. Because the whole point playing Pashlik Mons with Skirk is so I can kill things like this. Let's attack before they can. We'll take one, or we'll take a hit from Ragavan, and then hopefully we don't just get completely. Oh my god! What a way! What a way to be. I'm like, I can't even really be mad. They could have hit so much that wasn't that. Land is not a terrible draw. It doesn't mean I can just play Boggart Harbinger if I want to. Boggart Harbinger doesn't trade particularly well against the Renin 6 that they play, but they need to play like green land. I think I'm gonna play Boggart Harbinger. We'll grab like Mog War Marshal off the top. It actually seems pretty good on this board. And then if we do end up drawing Battlecry Goblin, it gets really good. I think we're gonna lose this game, unfortunately. That one Ragavan hit really does feel like it lost us. I saw that coming, didn't I? How is it that the 4-color deck with basics and tokens has perfect mana because they hit with rain? Cast my black-red spell. Okay, I'm dead. I put a card on top that I couldn't beat. Wow, that's disappointing. I mean, you're already down one mulligan because you saw a no-lander. We have a 1-3-4 hand, which is like not really fast, but how do you mulligan that? I don't think you can. I think you just kind of have to get lucky a little bit, and we got the opposite of that. I mean, it's easy to be like, oh, you should just block the Ragavan, but like they hit Munitions Expert. I don't think they had that Renin 6, so they would have maybe cast it. I'm not sure. But they hit Munitions Expert, which is like the ultimate feel bad draw. Like if they don't hit that Munitions Expert and they then cast their Renin 6, even if they plus it or they minus it, I'm in fine shape there regardless, right? Damn. That's just so disappointing. All right, well, it is what it is. Moving on. We're gonna go to the between round scene. Make it to O2 drop, get lunch with my girlfriend. Great record. What are we gonna do between rounds? That sucked though. Ugh. It's just like, people joke that Ragavan doesn't have Death Touch for players, and maybe that's what makes it feel worse when things like that happen. But shit, does it feel bad when things like that happen? Like, it made a land, it made a kill spell, it cast every color of the rainbow. I'm like, I guess I'm about to go off by myself in a room right here. And it's not, this has nothing to do with me just losing to it. It's what brings it up. You know, like that's why it's not why it's top of mind. Probably thinking. But a huge, an integral part of Magic's design and charm is the color pie. And part of the appeal of the color pie is that is not just that the separation of concerns, I guess you could put it. A large part of the color pie is that you have to make a decision about what colors to play, and the capabilities, the personality, the flavor of your deck might change, but it actually is supposed to make meaningful differences. What I'm getting. And when I understand Modern is high power format, I would argue that it is less powered, or supposed to be less powered, than Legacy. Except when things like that happen and you think, well, are 4-color decks running amok in Legacy? Like, not really. Get held in check by Wasteland and such. We get beat by the 4-color Blood Moon deck. It feels so bad. Like, how do you look at that? Not necessarily exactly what just happened, but like a 4-color Blood Moon deck that runs not just Blood Moon, but every best card in the format in Teferi, Ragavan, Omnath, and all the pitch elementals that are good. Like, there isn't a best card in the format that isn't in that deck, right? And like, everybody jokes and calls it money pile because they're all really expensive, because they're all the best cards in the deck. But that does give the impression that the game is pay to win. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the best deck is just always going to be the most expensive, and you can just play all of the best cards without worrying about it, because the mana, the color pie doesn't matter, and the mana is so, right? Like, why would why would not play the best cards? The only reason seems to be money. Maybe that's like it's definitely an oversimplification of it, because it's not necessarily the best deck, right? It goes in and out. But the fact that a deck like that is just out there every week and even occasionally wins, it just shows so many problems with the game all at once. Like, with the state of the game, not the game, because the design of the game is really good. They're just ignoring some of the parts of the design for, I don't want to say, like, a lot of people prescribe greed. The designers aren't the greedy ones. Like, they get pushed to design cool cards because cards sell, and they might feel pressure when a set does bad, or people don't like a card, or whatever. That's not, I won't say that's not that important, but that is not what's going on with things like Omnath and Ragavan necessarily. Like, I've heard Patrick Sullivan talk about what went into designing Ragavan, and his argument makes sense. I think he's wrong, but his argument makes sense. I understand where he's coming from. His reasoning is, how different is Ragavan in actual like win rate, strength, and this is not keying in on fun, right? Not that he doesn't have arguments for Ragavan based on fun, but how different is Ragavan in strength to getting hit by Goblin Guide twice, right? Like, how many games do you actually win after you get hit by the Goblin Guide deck twice? By the Goblin Guide. So I understand. And he may not be wrong about that. The problem is the decks that you can put Ragavan and I don't want to say luck into it because it makes it seem like I'm mad that somebody gets lucky, but there is 0 deck building cost basically to achieving these wins with Ragavan. And it's not the case with Goblin Guide. As a Goblin Guide player, or the type of player that plays Goblin Guide, not necessarily a Goblin Guide player, I am acutely aware of the deck building costs. Because number one, you're usually playing Goblin Guide because you don't want to buy a whole bunch of expensive cards, so the literal deck building costs are top of mind. But also, you're playing with all red aggressive cards that get outclassed really quickly. And like, does Ragavan get outclassed really quickly? Sure, but you don't need to support it with other aggressive cards. You can support it with cards that don't get outclassed, right? So if your deck is playing a normal game of Magic, and this is the quote-unquote problem that people had with Tarmogoyf, why Tarmogoyf is so strong, it's not really a problem. People never really complained about this unless they were, just upset that Tarmogoyf cost money. Just pumping up this worm for saving irrelevant. I should probably get rid of this. Should probably never have tried this stupid rabbit. Anyway, it's like you play a normal game of Magic, and when I say normal, I mean almost not like EDH is now, but like what EDH is. I guess that's almost a circular definition to say what Magic is supposed to be. The EDH is what Magic is supposed to be, but not what EDH is now, how people play it. Like saying the same thing over, right? Wow, I'm way far behind. Like, it's so tough to. It's not tough to put into words. The monkey is awful for the game. It's not hard to put that into words. I'll be honest. And the reason the monkey is awful for the game is because it takes the core conceits of Magic and it throws them out the window, which is not good. And the core conceits of Magic are, in a sense, that your deck building decisions hinge on the color pie and matter. Yes, is what it comes down to. And Ragavan, much like Deathrite Shaman did, I think is going to converge the entire format to these gross, not the entire format, but more and more of the format is going to be these gross 4-colored decks. Even like, I guess Living End doesn't play them, so it's disingenuous to say even Living End, but even Living End is a gross 4-color deck, right? Now it is. And do this kitty cat. But then the milks are gonna get Oh, I guess I have a roll. Yeah, I mean, I know people. I hope that what I'm saying comes across as thoughtful rather than knee-jerk. Oh man, I just hate Ragavan so much. He's so strong. Like, it's not because it's so strong. I think our deck has good matchups against the dedicated Ragavan decks, which are like Grixis, Lurrus, and things like that. Like, I don't like Lurrus either, right? Lurrus is really, really strong. Not a fan. I guess I'm gonna sell this crocodile. Buy is just so good. Food plan is dead. Food plan dead? I have this stupid ox. Yeah, it just feels bad. Cow is huge. I guess I just pump up this fly. Keep pumping up the worm though. I need the cat. It's, you know, we're so close to Strifopile, which is what ruined Deathrite Shaman for Legacy, and like, I hate to say it, but we all saw it coming, right? As soon as Ragavan started hitting people, and as soon as they started playing 4 in Vintage and 4 in Legacy, like, we know where this ends. Why are we... I don't know who we let convince us. I mean, I guess I've been part of it. Because I'm assuming that Ragavan is the new... power level, like speed limit of the format. I guess not speed limit, but... I always use that term, and I never know what I should be saying. Like, the minimum speed limit, right? You have to be this tall to ride. Omnath and Ragavan are like, you're not doing something as good as this, get out. It's like just how it is. I think I'm gonna unlock 2s next turn. I'm just gonna be behind this game. Whatever. Yeah, it's pretty upsetting at this point. That game is such a feel bad moment, and it's from a deck that it sounds reactionary, but it's like, that deck really shouldn't exist in every single form. Not only is it a Blood Moon deck and it's the top of the format, but it's a 4-color pile. It's playing every single most expensive card in Modern and is doing the best because of it. It just feels so wrong. We are crazy far behind here. Guess I'm supposed to do this. Oh. Spider. Rat. Texas Gold. I'll freeze the spider. Man, I don't really... It's like not Ragavan that I necessarily have the problem with. Again, if there was some kind of deck building restraint on a creature just as powerful, you know, like... if the Lotus Petal wasn't a Lotus Petal, right? Like let's say it only made red mana. It would probably still be too good. But would it be as good? Would it enable 4-color piles? You know what I mean? People would probably still play it in 4-color piles if I'm being perfectly honest, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. I mean, we all know it doesn't feel right. Okay. So now we're on this feint plan. Except all our feinters are terrible. When you summon the rat, or when you level up the rat, it gives them 2. Like, I'm gonna take the rat. Oh, I can't take the rat. I'm not gonna freeze the rat. Whatever. Ragavan. Some card. And I get the talking point a lot, and I'm sure if I didn't say it right now, people would come out in the comments and say it. And wait, do I win because of that? Ah, that was the perfect summon. Like Ragavan should have been a goblin. No, they just shouldn't have printed it. Like pretty plain and simple. What happens if you and you replace? What's gonna happen next round? Never done that before. Guess I'm supposed to dog, right? By the dog. Built-in off. But I think it I know I have like sort of a distaste for whining on social media, I guess is how I'll put it. I really didn't like when all the legacy players did was complain about Ragavan and be like, you have to ban. But you know what? They weren't even talking about banning Ragavan. They were talking about banning Date. Like part of why I disliked it. But it obviously sucks when that's what Discord comes. Hey, this is unplayable. Because people are clearly playing it and having fun. But I really think that on a core level, Ragavan violates rules. Ragavan is aiding in violating that make the game what it is. And I don't think it's gonna get better. Because the deck is already built around the only thing that could deck is already built around the only thing that is really designed to push it, which is knockout cards, but we're not on that wavelength of the game, unfortunately. We're just looking to level these guys up so that we can get high tier trade amount. Or feint guys. This buy 2 hippo. Out comp. You want to? I don't know. 2 matches left. 46 minutes into the round. We're going to play the second match. Now, I said that I was pre-boarded against those 4-color decks, and I sort of am. I didn't mulligan for a Battlecry Goblin hand. I was saying can't really mulligan for a hand that needs a preponderance of low drops. You know what I mean? Gonna run out of gas because you mulliganed, right? So I was saying, yeah, you need to get a little bit lucky, right? To get there. But like Ragavan just totally dumpstered us. Like Teferi was really good at bouncing our Aether Vial. You could convince me that that's fair, even with all these crazy 5-color games have to end. I'm not saying that, oh man, if we could have just kept playing forever, you know, like how great would that have been? We would have had this long, disgusting game that, you know, it should have ended 20 years ago because nobody can kill each other. I don't want that. Not what I'm talking about. Is this the right order to do this in? Probably. I guess I could like soften. Just we're about to die. Yeah, it's I don't want to say it's too many angles to fight. There's almost not such a thing as that, or at least there sort of shouldn't be such a thing as that. Wait, does this parrot not work? Because this is a different parrot. Yeah, the parrot doesn't even work with the whale. What am I doing? I wasn't even noticing that. But yeah, 4 and 5-color piles in Magic should not be as consistent or competitive as the one we're seeing is. That's just what it comes down to. And I don't mean should, in my opinion. That's the entire burbling mouths. That's me. That's the entire design of the game, right? Like that is Magic. The mana system is there to restrict your mana, not to make it perfect. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm gonna freeze them both. Wait. I'm gonna have 2 cost units next round. I should have just froze those 2 things and bought 1 of each and then stopped, but whatever. I don't know if people. The first round of the challenge was versus 4-color Omnath, and I think we got 2-0'd. The first game, I think we got Ragavan both games, and we didn't see any of our Mog Fanatics in opening hands. And like, it just feels real bad. I'm so tired of playing against Ragavan. I gotta be honest. It's not Ragavan that I'm tired of playing against. It's 4-color Omnath, because like I've been going off for a half an hour, but now I guess there's a sounding board. It really just shouldn't exist. It's a deck built around Blood Moon, like built to combat Blood Moon easily. That, you know, they're siding into Blood Moon. It's a money pile, so it's like calls into question, is the game pay to win when you can just buy all of the most expensive cards and play them in the same deck? Isn't the color pie supposed to prevent that from being the case? Shouldn't there theoretically be, you know, 5 different most powerful cards across 5 colors that you can't play all in the same deck. And yet, here we are with Ragavan. They got... Both times they hit me with Ragavan, they hit a Munitions Expert off the top. And it's like the 5th color. And they played it off of my deck. And it's like... How are you... Like, what am I supposed to do other than just lose, right? Ah, man, we're playing against mono. I mean, this is a fine hand against mono red. Probably another Ragavan deck. It shouldn't be capable of doing what it does and being the most powerful deck in the format, right? That's really what it comes down to. I say all the time, I know you haven't been around long enough to hear this before, Lastly, so it's going to sound new and fresh and exciting to you as opposed to actually how rehashed it is. So I used to play mono red Skred, right? And I was blood mooning people with Simian Spirit Guide. And my deck sucked, right? I didn't know or admit that my deck sucked. I'm going to play this Bloodstained Mire so that I can get around the Blood Moon. But it sucked. And I wanted it to be better, and I was like, oh, they're just going to... Any day now, they're going to print some mono red threat. I was like hoping for a Ragavan, basically. You know what I mean? But I love playing red cards. I still do, clearly. And... at its heart, my deck was a prison deck, is what I'm getting at, right? And they have learned, most people have, so this fizzles Stomp, which means that this doesn't go on an adventure. So, pretty bad use of, if you ask me, but they should have just docked my face. Maybe they're planning on blood mooning and they don't care. Chandra, Torch of Defiance, okay. Or not Torch of Defiance, Dress to Kill, excuse me. I'm gonna fetch a basic swamp on this turn or the next turn anyway, but I don't want... Well, no, I'm gonna do it on this turn or the next turn anyway. So if I'm gonna thin my deck, I might as well get it now. There are no decisions that I could have made in the mean. So we'll just play Goblin Matron, and I think given that they're definitely playing Furies and they could play Fury next turn, we're just gonna need to reload times. But yeah, to finish my thought, I was playing a prison deck at heart, right, with Blood Moon at the center. And if that deck was ever the best deck in the format, I didn't realize this at the time, but if that deck was ever the best deck in the format, something is wrong, right? Something is incredibly wrong. And you're going to get banned within a week. Like, that's just what it's going to... That's just how it's going to be. If you are doing something that is oppressive, unfun, and not really what Magic is supposed to focus on, they're just not... Like, oh, we made a mistake, sorry. Like, we didn't mean to ruin your day with, you know, these stacks decks. So, like, I can kill this Dragon's Rage Channeler, but this is probably a Bolt. This right here. But I don't have a way around this Chandra, and this Bolt... While it does kill my ringleader, it's just going to put instant and maybe one other type in the yard. So I think I can afford to play this right now. I may get proven wrong. But like, there are certain things that just shouldn't be the most powerful thing in Magic if you want people to continue playing. And if the core game is functioning. You know what I mean? I think those go hand in hand because people... Magic got popular because the core game is so good at function, etc. And I mean, I used to post about it a lot more often because I don't know, because I wasn't as complacent about Ragavan sticking around. But like a month after Ragavan got released, they were playing 4 copies in Vintage and winning. And like maybe the Vintage meta adjusts, right? Sure. But I just play Pashalik. Chandra can't ult next turn. Pashalik plus Matron. I can't do Pashalik. Pashalik plus Fnatic. Shock something. I definitely want to play Fnatic this turn. I want to save the Battlecry Goblin. I guess we're King Leader plus Fnatic. And then save our life total and discard this fetch if we get too many goblins, which is like a good problem to have. But yeah, they were playing 4 in Vintage challenges and winning, and like I used to post like, this is where we're at in the is Ragavan banned yet timeline. Like they've played 4 I remember that tweet, you know. We're just gonna do this. If they have the removal spell right now, they get the Surveil. But I could have attacked Chandra for 2 and threatened to kill Bone Crusher Giant, but I'm not. I don't think that trading my whole board for a Bone Crusher Giant is good when they have Chandra plus Dragon Rage Channeler in play. Call me crazy. So next turn, I'm pretty much priced into hitting this Chandra for some amount of damage. And taking another full process, by the way. So I kind of want to see what's on top, but I need to play this Snoop first, actually, either way, because if they have interaction in hand, I want them to be able to bolt Battlecry Goblin. Yeah, I can't win if they do that, unfortunately. So maybe next turn this Battlecry Goblin will survive. If they have 2 bolts, I'm just dead, right? Like I can't beat that no matter what, right? This is 4 and then 6 more, but so we have to do this. The red cards are very good right now. Red is clearly the best color in Modern. We are approaching O2 drop. Guess you can chalice them. Because then you shut off Bolt, Unholy Heat, Ragavan, Dragon's Rage Channeler, and you're on the play. Am I supposed to bring in hit at Sugu against them? I don't think so. Don't think so. Yeah, you're likely not comboing, so we'll side out another Harbinger and a Kiki. We called, at least, you know, I have been talking about how I need a sideboard for 4-color Omnath. I need a plan. We're pre-boarded for them best we can, and like we kind of lost both those games not close. And it's not that we can't beat them. We just, you're in sort of a rough spot where like, no, you don't. You can't mulligan too low. You just need a good hand, and we had hands that could get there, you know, where you have like 100 outs, but we didn't get there. And that's gonna happen, but the way we didn't get there was this goddamn card, and it just feels so bad. I think you're supposed to play this. Because they may interpret from this that we have 2. And then point a bolt at this to get it off the field. Or they may not play a Dragon's Rage Channeler, right? This turn. Just straight into it. Don't care. Fine. Usually, and I used to use that to my advantage all the time. People see that you've tutored one and they assume it's the only one. So it's a very high level player that is gonna make the play I'm talking about. But that's what you play for. You don't play against the dumbest person. You play against the best person, right? I could get Munitions Expert, and this Ragavan definitely won't hit me. Could also do the same with Mog War Marshal. I think Mog War Marshal is probably the better call because of the Sling Gang Lieutenant. I would love to get Ringleader, but if they bolt this Matron, and then I guess what's the big deal if they hit me once with Ragavan if I have a Ringleader coming up? I mean, Mog War Marshal Sling Gang sounds good, but then you're just like still saying like I'm gonna draw good stuff. I mean, keeping pressure on the board, so that same thing that happened to us last game though. That's why I initially wanted the Mog War Marshal. And I think that's still important because they're about to hit their turn 3. So let's get this Mog War Marshal. So that way, even it's just tough for them to kill. I'll probably end up paying Echo next turn and not playing the Sling Gang out, but all right, so we are going to Violin Mog War Marshal so that the token is what, or so that we don't have to pay Echo. I kind of didn't expect them to attack. They may just have 3 Ragavans in hand. They may have Kozilek's return. Seasoned Pyromancer. Seasoned Pyromancer is like Sling Gang Lieutenant and Goblin Ringleader combined into one thing. It's so good. We gotta draw some good stuff. Hey, that's some good stuff. Patron is good. I'll attack. I assume they block, yeah. I think it's fine to trade. I know they get to reuse this. We have to kind of keep the board a little bit clear. Isn't that... It was at 1, right? It comes in at 1. So they're tapped out. This may be my opportunity to get Battlecry Goblin. Have 4 goblins in play. That would be 5. I pump it. Do 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. It puts him to 9. It's not really low enough, is it? I mean, I do have Sling Gang in hand. I'm not sure either the Blast Zone. I think they feel really pressured. I think the Vial is what's winning us the game, but like... Maybe I'm just supposed to get Munitions Expert here. I could get Pashalik Mons, because next turn I can play Pashalik plus Prospector, and I'm doing okay. And then they have to use a removal spell on that, and then I have a Snoop. Yeah. Yeah, let's do Pashalik Mons. I think that's the long game play. Whereas Battlecry Goblin is trying to end the game right now. That's a pretty good draw. When I just got Pashalik Mons. So... you know what? They may be setting up for like an Anger of the Gods. I want to get this Mogg War Marshal out and the Skirk Prospector and the Pashalik. So if I play 3 mana, then I sack the Mogg War Marshal, I kill this, and then I have to sack 1 more. Oh, no, I can't do that. I'm doing it in the wrong order. We play Skirk Prospector and then Pashalik. That's basically, we don't need to do anything. But if we play Mogg War Marshal and Skirk, can't get Pashalik out easily enough. I mean, they know I have Pashalik. I want to be resilient to removal. I may just play Mogg War Marshal, which doesn't make a ton of sense. Maybe I just play Snoop. They're pretty far behind. Let's attack them. We're not getting this blocker out of the way in any kind of fancy way. Alright, so that block... What does it say? Well, Munitions Expert on top kind of makes it a little bit easier. They're fetching, which implies a 4-mana play. Maybe Chandra. Oh, no, they just put Obosh in their hand. Obosh into Lightning Bolt. I think I want to just... Because I'd like to draw lands, they're pretty close to dead. I just have things in play. I'm going to flash it in. Like, 4 bodies is a big deal when we can put them to 12. And now Pashalik Mons plus Mogg War Marshal is a lot easier. Wait, oh, we might just have lethal. Is there a way I can get all this stuff into play? It's definitely during the second main. So let's attack. We probably play this first. We need to save black mana. Play this. And then... Well, let's count, but this is 2. They go to 10. We get Mogg War Marshal. Yeah, they're dead. Okay. Their prospect are really good. I think that was game 2, right? Yeah. Chalice is so much worse in the draw than the play. We didn't see any artifacts we care about. We may need to clear their tokens. The fact that this hits Using Pyromancer tokens and all the Ragavans and stuff. I think I'm willing to do this on the draw, which has been my plan usually anyway. Decks that Chalice is good against, Hitotsugu is good against on the draw. So we'll try it. I'm not excited to play this tournament starting from 0-1, I gotta be honest. Tiebreakers are so bad, and so you need to, like, even if you go X and 1, you may not win. It's a pretty aggressive hand. It beats turn 1 Ragavan, so I'm gonna keep it. It's not like probably exactly where I want to be on the draw, but it's not bad. There it is. I think we got turn 1 Ragavan in 3 out of our 4 games, or 3 out of our 5 games. 4. Isn't it crazy that the card is so powerful and so universal that mono red and 4-color pile play it? Pretty crazy if you ask me. You think you can attack? Got it. Dragon's Rage Channeler makes sense. No land. Okay. Well, could be worse. We can at least block the Dragon's Rage Channeler, as if that matters. We can play Matron next turn regardless to go find a Fanatic. I don't like that. Well, there goes our Prospector. No Delirium for that. Instant creature. Tokens on. Alright, Spellbomb will give them Delirium next turn. Oh, there was one on top, so they have Delirium now. Turn 2, 3/3 flyer. Coming at us. Gotta do something about it. Hey, not terrible. The Pyrite Spellbomb makes it pretty difficult to deal with, if I'm being honest. Because we are behind on board and need to build a board, kill it. But we draw a land, and they don't have another removal spell besides the Pyrite Spellbomb. We can double Battlecry Goblin into Munitions Expert. So we'll see. Draw land. I can, like, pretend to try to race them. Just gonna play a Battlecry Goblin out. And not activate it. Which is, like, incredibly suspicious, but let's see if they can resist. They draw a card, which means they can only have one removal spell right now, because they only have 1 red mana. So let's do this right now. They have 0 removal spells. I think this is lethal next turn. I'm not sure. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can just attack with everybody. They just put Obosh in their hand? Ugh. Cards are so good. That's fine. Can't do anything about it. Not really fine. Maybe I was supposed to... Oh, I was probably supposed to play Sling. and at last turn. I just play Sling Gang Lieutenant, and then I can violin. I think I'm bad. I was definitely supposed to play Sling Gang Lieutenant last turn. Well, card's doing nothing in the game. If I can pump it up to 4 by itself, I can play into another Fury. They don't have another red card in hand, or they just don't think that Obosh is good enough to save. Am I in a better spot if I had played Sling Gang and then just viled in Expert? Not sure. Oh my god. Like, just getting dumpstered today. Had I done that, does this turn look any different? I don't think so. I guess Battlecry Goblin lets you like attack since all their removal is sorcery speed, and we could have maybe like hasted something. I guess Hidetsugu does something here, but not a lot. Kills my Aether Vial on this draw, so I'm probably gonna save it. Didn't even get any tokens. Ragavan. Pick up. Draw Blood Crypt. I mean, at least we blocked this Ragavan. Silver linings. Gonna O2 drop, guys. And just been brutal. I mean, I made a small misplay. I think it could have been a big misplay. Turns out it didn't matter at all. Got crazy punished. I would have been punished no matter what. I put the other one in the board, right? Doesn't favorably block anything. I need to take one hit. These Obosh matchups are fair. This isn't some overpowered deck just wrecking me. I'm just kind of low rolling all over the place. Just having a 2/2 is a big deal. There's no way they shouldn't cast that. Man, do I hate Ragavan. I actually had a chance. Now with the extra 2/2, I don't think I do. And it was the draw I needed too, which is just a bigger dagger. I guess Matron on top was the best thing we could have found. So if they don't have Lightning Bolt and I survive with a Snoop, there are outs to win. Doesn't mean I'm going to win, but there are outs to win. Well, that's it. That was a quick O2 drop. Anyway, thank you everybody for for joining me for as long as we played. I think our deck is fine. I think we kind of got beat by some pretty nasty draw from Omnath, specifically from Ragavan not being able to block it a few times. Call that a low roll if you want. I don't know. I played for Mog Fanatic last week to avoid this sort of thing. I went up to a second Battlecry Goblin. I mean, we were right to cut the Harbinger. Like, that worked out. I think we were right to add the Battlecry Goblin because we saw Omnath. Just wasn't meant to be. All right, well, O2 drop. LSV has O2 drop more tournaments than I've ever entered, so I guess I just got to keep entering them. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm not going to raid anybody. Not a lot of us here. I guess because I forgot to post in the streamer thing. Whatever. Too late now. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm planning on having a good one. If you're watching on YouTube, do you even upload O2 drops to YouTube? I guess so. Just transparency and all that. Yeah, we got high rolled by Ragavans, low rolled by some hands. It's okay. Wasn't our day. So if you're watching on YouTube, come follow. On Twitch, hang out in the chat. It's what makes these O2 drops bearable. Either way, I hope to see you around. Leave comments, tell me what is working, what's not working. You're playing goblins out at your local events. Tell me about matchups, tell me about cuts you'd make. Tell me why you think the cuts are good or the additions are good. I know I get like a lot of people are just like excited about the cards themselves, and they don't you know, they'll say, like, for example, I asked about cuts and somebody said add engineered explosives to the board, and like, I don't even think they suggested a cut, but like they didn't even say what matchup they wanted it for, and they wanted it for rhinos, and like that means it's for killing tokens, and Hidetsugu does that. So like the sometimes awkwardness of Hidetsugu and Vile, I think, is still worth it. I'm not sure. Hidetsugu is definitely a hugely good card. It's like $40 now. I think that we should be playing it, but it is what it is. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'll see you next time.